What happened?
So right away I rushed to the bathtub, and that's when I found him. He was just laying there, and I took him out, and we went to the living room, and then I called 911, and he was just laying there, and then I kind of blacked out after that. They were just telling me how to do something.
Monday, March 3rd, 2025, Albuquerque, New Mexico. In a small apartment in the city's southeast, a seemingly harmless routine ended in tragedy. A mother left her 7-month-old baby in the bathtub and fell asleep after drinking. Hours later, the child was found lifeless. The case exposed not only a chain of negligent decisions, but also the cracks of a system that had failed to recognize the risk in time. Behind it all is a story that has a broader question. What happens when addiction and parental responsibility intersect at the same point? I'm Tyler, and this is your daily dose of crime. We can see that you're watching, but only 11% of you are actually subscribed to the channel. So take a moment right now and hit that subscribe button and ring that bell so that we can bring these videos to more people and so that you never miss your daily dose of crime. Thanks for watching and supporting the channel.
Turn it down. So, are you hot, cold? No, fine. Okay, you have a little water. If you need some more water, something, let us know, okay? So I appreciate moving the chair. This is probably a little better. I know the room's not the most beautiful, but at least it's better than sitting out in the cold, right, freezing. I already kind of talked to you. My name's Lawrence. This is my partner, Casey. She's in the uniform, but she's works with me very closely. So she's going to just help us chat and stuff, okay? I'm just going to get some particulars from you real quick, just so I make sure I try to write stuff down when we were talking earlier, or when I was listening to you in that lady from my talk, but it was freezing. So yeah. I wouldn't even remember my picture.
Smart eyes.
Okay, so I'm just going to make sure I have all your personal information correct, and so it's just Edith, right?
Mm-hmm.
Edith.
Yes.
Middle initial?
G.
Your last name?
Estrada.
Estrada? With an E? Alright, so, again, I just kind of want to chat with you about this one. First of all, offering condolences, saying I'm sorry, seems pretty hollow. You know, I've done a lot of these investigations. I've unfortunately seen a lot of kiddos that have passed away, and it's never easy. And I understand that. So maybe let's start. Maybe let's start from last night and kind of tell me maybe around, let's say, dinner time last night, and then we'll go from last night at dinner time into today, and then kind of into what happened.
So just kind of like what I was doing and stuff, or like.
Yeah, just maybe yesterday around dinner time until obviously we made contact with each other.
Yeah. So last night around dinner time, I was at my boyfriend's house. I spent the entire weekend there. So around dinner time, we were putting. He has kiddos, so I have two. So we were putting the kids to sleep. I did notice that it had like a weird cough still, very like phlegm-wise, and like. So we were kind of like keeping an eye on it. Just gave him a bottle. The kids went to sleep. I slept there. Other day I was in a, what is it called? Playpen. But we did notice he was like choking a lot, and he was just coughing up the phlegm, but would swallow it back. So that was like keeping him up all night. And then from there, I was supposed to go into, so during the night, like he just kept waking up. And then I made him probably like 2 bottles. And then this morning we woke up. My boyfriend barely went back to work after breaking his leg, so this was like his first day back to work.
Okay.
So then I ended up calling into work. I went back to my house, showered Aiden, and then that way I could take him to school, made him lunch. I took him to school and then came back. Just kind of started cleaning up. I am moving out of that apartment, so that apartment's like chaotic. So I've been just kind of in and out of my boyfriend's. So I was letting my family go. So I was just going to try my best to kind of gather everything and see what I was going to put in storage. I took a bottle in the morning and all that, and then I was just kind of cleaning up, doing some laundry, and he was just there watching cartoons. But he does have a diaper rash, which we've been trying to control for daycare. So that's why I started the bath. That way he could breathe as well, because he was choking up. And I started the bath. I closed the door the way I could see me for him. I got him undressed. He was wearing some blue pants. He was wearing a long sleeve shirt. He was and I undressed him and I put his toys in the bathtub. I put him in there since I was still doing laundry. I went to the room. And I was still waiting for the dryer to be done. He was just playing with his toys. I don't know how I just fell asleep. So I wake up and I fell asleep. So whenever I got up, my mom was knocking the doorbell. I didn't hear my phone. She had called me, but I didn't hear my phone. I think my phone was like on low. So when I opened the door, I was just kind of half asleep. I opened the door. That was my mom. So then she asked me about Adrian, and I went back inside the room, and I was still half asleep. I couldn't put two and two together because I didn't see him in his bassinet. So right away I rushed to the bathtub, and that's when I found him.
The woman in front of the investigators is Edith Estrada Segala, age 28, a resident of Southeast Albuquerque. She lives with her children in a small apartment on San Pablo Street Southeast in the International District, a neighborhood marked by poverty and high rates of substance abuse. Hours before the interview, Estrada's mother arrived at the home and found her grandson dead in the bathtub. Estrada admitted that she had been drinking that morning and had fallen asleep by accident, but in legal terms, that phrase carries a different weight. Under NMSA 30-6-1, which defines child abuse as resulting in death, intent is not required, only the act of placing a child in a situation of obvious danger. Detectives worked to piece together the previous hours. Estrada mentions visiting her boyfriend, returning home, and deciding to bathe her son. In her account, a familiar pattern appears: alcohol use, exhaustion, and misplaced confidence. Beneath it all lies the question that drives the entire case. At what point did neglect become a foreseeable act of risk?
I took him out. He was just laying there. And I took him out. And we went to the living room. And then I called 911 right away. And he was just laying there. And then I kind of blacked out after that. They were just telling me how to do CPR and I couldn't bring him back. And my mom was going crazy in the background telling things. And then from there, like, the paramedics got there and they tried bringing him back, but they couldn't.
All right, so at some point you said your mom was knocking at your door, right?
The doorbell, yeah.
Is a doorbell?
Mhm.
Okay, so mom rang the doorbell. Do you know what time that was?
I honestly don't remember.
Okay. So you also mentioned that you didn't hear your cell phone, right? So when you heard her, did you check your phone?
No.
Or how did you know that she was trying to get a hold of you by phone?
Well, she told me when I opened the door, she asked me why I wasn't answering my phone,
Oh, okay.
but I hadn't seen even where it was at.
Okay. And she just asked you.
Yeah, I said when I opened the door, she just asked me why I wasn't answering my phone.
Okay.
And we live right down the street from each other, so that's why she just went over to my house.
Okay. Did she say why she went over there?
To my house?
Yeah.
Because I wasn't answering my phone.
Okay. And so that was like, it was just, obviously, is that uncharacteristic or is it odd? Or?
Yeah, it's a little bit odd because I usually always answer.
Okay. And so, where was Aiden at this time?
At school.
Okay, so he's still at school.
Yeah.
Okay. And who usually picks him up?
It just depends. Either my parents, if my niece is there, my niece goes to the same after school program,
Mm-hmm.
or it just depends if he has soccer practice, his dad will.
Okay. So it sounds like a collective effort.
Yeah.
Okay. Who was going to pick him up today?
So I was supposed to
Okay.
pick him up. But I think that's why my mom was calling me,
Okay.
just to make sure.
Okay. All right. So you just say you're kind of disoriented. She's asking her to answer your phone. I mean, who is it that's like, where is Adriel? Was it you? Was it grandma?
Yeah, whenever she walked in, she was like, "Where's Alien?" And I just kind of, like everything was just kind of like collecting pieces. So I saw her and I was like, in the room. I was like, we were sleeping. So I went inside my bedroom and that's when I didn't find him.
Okay. So you told her we were sleeping, so he's got to be in the room. And then obviously he wasn't in his bassinet, right? And it wasn't anywhere else. And then so it sounds like you clicked, right? And I guess remember that you had put him in the tub.
Mm-hmm.
So you rush into the bathroom, is that correct?
Yeah.
And you find him in there, right? So tell me about how you find him. So kind of set that scene for me a little bit. How did you find him?
The thing was in the middle and he was like on the side, like up inside the bathtub.
Okay. When you say the thing, do you mean that seat?
Yeah, that,
Okay.
the support
it's like
thing,
a
yeah.
bath seat or something, right? And so he wasn't in the seat anymore.
He had, I think, rolled over.
Okay, so he was out of the seat.
Yeah.
Okay. And what was his body position like?
He was just laying up.
Like laying on his back on the bottom of the
Bottom,
tub?
yeah.
Okay. So facing up?
Yeah.
Okay. How much water was in the tub? Okay. Do you remember sticking your hands in water? Do you remember?
I know he was wet, so I don't remember like if there was water or not. I just remember picking him up from the bathtub, but I know he was wet.
Okay. Do you know if that water felt cold or warm or
I don't remember.
any temperature? No? Okay. So was the seat kind of still where it was when you left him? Except he just wasn't in it.
Just in the middle, yeah.
Okay. And so when you see him, how does he look? I know this is a hard question, right?
He just looked.
He looked blue? Okay.
As the interrogation progresses, Estrada's story begins to fracture. She tries to explain what happened, but her memory is inconsistent. She says she found the baby face up, pale and blue, unable to recall the water level or how much time had passed. To the investigators, those gaps are not only signs of shock, but indications of intoxication and temporal disorientation. Her description, the loss of muscle tone, cold skin, bluish color, matches a prolonged period of immersion, incompatible with her claim of a recent discovery. That time gap becomes the forensic core of the case, the window in which the baby was left alone in the water. When she repeats that she doesn't know when she fell asleep, investigators interpret it as a partial denial, an unconscious attempt to admit the act without accepting full responsibility.
Okay. And so you pull him out of the tub, and then where did you take him after you exited the bathroom?
I grabbed him and I ran to the living room and I grabbed the towel that was like on the couch from where I had showered Aiden. I grabbed that towel, it was a pink towel. I grabbed it, laid it, and I laid him on it, like in the middle of my living room.
Okay.
And then called 911 from my mom's phone.
Okay, so you called 911 from your mom's phone?
Yeah.
Okay. So obviously there's a lot going on, right? It sounds like obviously it's a very traumatic experience. There's a lot going on. Sounds like grandma's upset. She's throwing stuff. Everyone's, I mean, obviously, right? It's an awful situation. Did you retrieve your phone at any point during the scene?
I don't remember that. I know whenever she gave me her phone, I don't know if I was trying to look for my phone or I have no idea where my phone's at.
Okay. What kind of phone do you have?
It's an iPhone 14 Plus. It has a purple case on it.
Purple case? Okay. And I would assume it's not on you, right?
No.
Okay. So you left it in the house?
I think so, yeah.
Okay. Did you remember using it when you were, before all this happened, like before you fell asleep and stuff?
Before I fell asleep, probably, yeah.
Okay. And like most iPhones, they require like a PIN and that kind of stuff. What's the PIN number for the phone?
It's 4275.
4275. Okay. Okay. So just a few things, right? Obviously, when stuff like this happens, even for law enforcement, right, there's officers that respond. Detectives will show. There's a lot of people that kind of culminate to do these sort of investigations. And so in doing that, I've talked to just a lot of people that work with me and other individuals that were around, other witnesses. And so I know there was a number of different, it sounds like there was maybe some different stories that were told.
Okay.
And so I'm trying to figure out where those came from. So I know there was one that essentially was kind of like you and I don't know, I'm just asking if this is something that was stated that Adriel had pneumonia, so you had put him down for a nap and both of you fell asleep. That's something that came through somewhere. Is that something? Is that something that you told somebody or? Not
pneumonia. I had, like as a kid, and like knew that baby was coughing really bad.
Okay.
So he knew, like my job, I even told him that he was coughing pretty bad. I was making him gag, so that's why I was going to take the day off and I couldn't go in.
Okay, but I'm saying like today, so obviously I know like you've talked to a few people, right?
Yeah.
Family members, I know that we talked with OMI, there was officers that had arrived. We also spoke briefly with paramedics. So all these people are, I wouldn't say all these people, but there's a few of them that are giving different stories of what you told them. And I'm just wondering where those came from, right? One of the statements that was made, that they were telling me was made by you, I'm just trying to run it by you and check, was that you would put Aiden down because he had pneumonia and then both of you fell asleep and then you woke up and you found him unresponsive.
No.
Okay, so we didn't tell anybody?
No.
Okay.
I had told him that he had walking pneumonia like the beginning of the year, and that he had a really bad cough, but no, I never said that.
And maybe, I mean, there's sometimes people have different perceptions or just say something and they interpret it a different way. I'm just trying to
I
figure
know
it
I
out.
went a little crazy earlier. Honestly, I feel like it's really settling in. But yeah, no.
Okay. Okay. So obviously we applied for a search warrant for your house, which is pretty standard in these sort of situations. And I think I kind of maybe briefly told you about that when we were outside talking and freezing. I can't remember, but so we applied for a search warrant for your home, and obviously we have to go in there. I went in there before night to take a look at Gabriel. Like I told you, he's not going to be alone tomorrow when he goes to OMI and has an autopsy. I know you were concerned about him being alone and him not wanting to be alone. He's not going to be alone. So I'll be there with him. I'd always like to make sure I tell parents that, these situations are hard, and although you can't be there and other members of your family can't be there, someone will be there with them, and I'll be there with them, so he won't be alone. I went in there with him. I took a little. I did notice that diaper rash that he had, so that's something I was going to ask you about. And a lot of times we'll go look. We have to look around. That's the whole purpose of the search warrant. So one thing I did notice when we were going through there was there was a lot of empty alcohol containers. Mm-hmm. So you're the only adult that lives there, right?
Yeah.
So is it safe to say that you're the one that's consuming that?
I was consuming that. I did have a couple friends over. Okay. And then honestly I would leave the house and go to my boyfriend's house, or not drinking, but it was here and there. I've been home here and there, but it's been inconsistent, honestly, and I have had friends over.
Okay.
In the next phase of questioning, detectives confront Estrada with the results of the home search. The report describes a deteriorated environment where alcohol consumption was routine and part of daily life. For police, this was not a household accident, but the culmination of a sustained pattern of neglect. Estrada tries to minimize the findings, insisting she doesn't drink regularly. Yet both her testimony and the physical evidence reveal an active addiction that had completely eroded her ability to provide care. In the investigators' view, what happened that day was not an isolated incident, but the inevitable outcome of a repeated ignored behavior.
And you said that you had a couple of friends over, and let me start with this. You're an adult, right? As long as you're of legal drinking age, that's not necessarily what I'm concerned with. I'm just trying to figure out. There's just a lot, right?
No, yeah, I haven't taken out my trash in a while. If you notice, okay. I have not cleaned. I did not want to be home or anything like that, so I haven't deep cleaned at all.
Okay. And you said you had a couple of friends over. How many friends did you have over?
Two.
Okay. Who are they?
Her name is.
Okay. And the other one?
And then I don't remember her last name, honestly.
Okay. And when were they over?
Not this weekend. Probably a few days before that.
So let's see, not this again. So you did a few days. You're back to was it during the weekend? Was it during the week?
It was probably on a Sunday, not this past Sunday, but probably the last Sunday.
Okay.
Before that.
Okay. And they were over at your apartment?
Yeah.
Okay. And where was Adriel?
He was with me.
Okay.
He was sleeping.
Okay. And Aiden?
He was with his dad.
Aiden with that? Okay. Okay. Because again, the reason I asked there's some in the trash, there's some in your bathroom on the floor.
Yeah, it just overfilled, honestly. So I neglected my house, and it was so bad. But
okay, there's also a bottle in the vanity in your bathroom, like a large, like a fifth, basically. that was in your bathroom, like
Just in there.
inside the vanity? Does that make sense?
I don't remember that, honestly.
Okay. Any sort of drinking today?
I did have a shot
Okay.
while I was doing laundry.
Okay. Shot of what?
It was Pink Whitney.
What is that? I
Um,
mean, I saw the bottle, so
yeah,
I just don't know what.
it's vodka.
Okay. Is that like what you normally like to drink?
It just depends, honestly.
And so you had a shot, like one of the little ones, or okay. And was this? When was this? Like, was this while Audra was in the bath? Was this when he was?
No, he was sleeping. Yeah.
Okay. So. Okay. Okay. So he was sleeping. You just took that shot, just that one shot. Okay.
I know there's like so many little bottles, but we did make jungle juice as well, like a while back.
Okay.
So they've been just lingering. I haven't cleaned the house, which I feel terrible, but.
Okay. Okay. So. So you put him down for his nap about 10, and he woke up at 12, and from 10 to 12 is when you took that shot? Okay.
Yeah, I think he woke up like 12 or 1, honestly. I know he slept for a couple hours, and yeah, that's when.
Okay. So you took that one shot, it was a little tiny, one of those little shooters, it was a Pink Whitney vodka, but nothing else.
No, I just ate watermelon and stuff like that.
Okay. Okay. Are you doing okay? Do you
Yeah.
need any water or anything like that?
No.
Okay. I'm going to take a quick little break, and then we'll come back in and then we'll chat a little bit more. You sure you don't need anything? You don't want anything?
No, I'm okay. I think I still have water.
Okay. Do you have any questions before we?
I don't think right now.
Okay. Just give us a few minutes and then, you sure you want anything?
I'm okay.
Okay. And we'll just be right back in, okay? Are you sure? You're going to drink all that?
Probably a little bit.
Okay. And we'll be right back, okay?
As the interview continues, the investigators shift their focus from reconstructing the scene to evaluating credibility. They analyze pauses, tone, and omissions, standard tools in serious crime interviews, and identify a pattern often seen in cases of negligence linked to substance abuse: the constant oscillation between guilt and self-justification. Estrada alternates between tears and defensive statements, insisting that she's not a bad mother and that it was just an accident. For investigators, these are not confessions, but emotional defense mechanisms. In forensic psychology, such responses reflect the effort to preserve a positive self-image while facing actions that contradict it. Outside the room, detectives compare notes. The child's death is already proven, but what remains is to determine the precise degree of criminal responsibility that can stand up in court. When they return, the interview will move from the emotional to the procedural, marking the beginning of a formal confession.
Alright, sorry to keep you waiting. So here's what's gonna happen. I told you about your cell phone. We're gonna kind of hold on to that. I'm probably gonna have that for a while. This is what's gonna happen the rest of the evening. Okay. This officer is gonna place you under arrest. Right. We do have a warrant for your arrest. You'll be able to get a copy of it. You'll kind of see the charges are obviously child abuse and in death. Okay. He's going to transport you. Again, I asked you, like I talked about earlier, like you've been very cooperative. I think it kind of be in your best interest to be cooperative moving forward in terms of, let him do what he needs to do. He's a great guy. He's a good cop. Be good to him. Be respectful to him. He's going to be respectful to you. Okay? Like I said earlier, this sucks. All right? This is a situation. That arrest warrant is signed by a judge, but I was only drafted and I signed it based on the totality of everything that's happened, right? This is something that I have to do, right? While I don't necessarily think you wanted to hurt your child, you did do some stuff that essentially led up to what occurred, right? And so that's the reason that I made the decision for kind of what we have there, all right? So he's going to place you under arrest now. Just be good to him, okay? And he'll be respectful and good to you, okay? So what happens? You go to jail, you'll get an arraignment, right? And at that point, the judge will decide kind of what your bond will be. I can't tell you what that's going to be. I don't make those decisions, and they'll kind of go from there. From there, it kind of just goes to like judiciary proceedings, right? The DA's office will get it, and then they'll move forward with whatever charges or whatever they feel is appropriate at that time. Okay.
Cool. All right, I'll have you stand up. You can put the blanket on the blanket. Turn around for me.
You know when I came back with my brother home?
Do you know their phone numbers?
The other officers have the emergency. I know my sister's number.
Okay, so that's probably going to be the best service call. So you'll get a chance to make phone calls. We don't. I mean, obviously, I'm not going to give you a phone to have you do it or anything like that. But. Any other questions?
So they won't find her until midnight.
Who?
My family.
Yeah, I mean, I can, if you want me to, I can maybe try calling one of your sisters. I think I have,
Probably the oldest.
what's her name? I know one of these.
Yeah.
So her phone was the one in the apartment, right?
And my mom's phone.
And there was two. So sister said that her phone is in there too. I know there's three. We took 3 phones out.
Oh, okay, probably.
So I'll call on. I have a number. I have a contact number. I'll call one of your sisters and try and get a hold of them. I'll let them know kind of what happened, and that way at least they can kind of at least they know where you're at, right? Okay.
Thank you.
Step this way. And then out into customers. I have no idea. Is that your blanket?
Yeah.
Yeah. I'll just leave it for now. Just throw it. Just throw it in here. Throw it in the evidence room if you don't mind. No, just right here on these tables. Thank you. All right, go ahead and have a seat. Scoot that way a little bit. Okay, that's good.
The case of Edith Estrada Segala became one of Albuquerque's most disturbing child incidents of 2025. She was formally charged with child abuse resulting in death, a first-degree felony under NMSA 30-6-1. Although there was no direct intent to harm, the law draws no distinction between malice and omission when a child as a result. The court granted pretrial release under strict conditions: no alcohol, no contact with minors, and no travel outside of the state. The decision, consistent with New Mexico's 2016 constitutional reform eliminating cash bail, sparked public debate over the balance between presumption of innocence and child protection. Experts agree that Estrada did not act out of violence, but as a result of a chronic addiction that overwhelmed her capacity to care. Her spontaneous confession and physical evidence established a case of criminal negligence that is difficult to dispute. In the most favorable judicial scenario, she faces between 12 and 15 years in prison, with the possibility of reduction for cooperation and treatment.